Good morning, my name is Raquel, welcome to my podcast, and today is Sunday the 18th of September 2016, and I'm coming to you from Porto, where I live, in Portugal, and yeah, I'm here with my dogs, my two dogs and my cat. Sits on the table, so there might be some you might come and play with some of the stuff I've got here to show you. And Dakota's on one of the pillows by the windows, and the rest is on another pillow underneath the table over there. Yeah, they're just chilling because again, it's a nice warm day outside today. Yesterday was nice and warm as well, but I'll talk about yesterday later on. And so it's not going to join Dakota by the window. And yeah, so still warm. It does get chillier at night now, but we're still going strong in summer. So last week I showed 3 finished projects, and I didn't have anything on the needles, and I showed some of the patterns I was contemplating on starting. And what did I do? So what I did last week after filming the episode, I went and wound the yarn for 3 of those projects, because the 4th one I already had wound up. They already come caked up, so I didn't need to do anything with that. And then I just sat there thinking which one I could possibly finish in the 3 weeks I had till the end of September, because as of the 1st of October I'm hosting a soft cal, so I wanted to have I didn't want to have another project on the needles, because I wanted to focus on the socks. So I decided to start the Hitofude cardigan by Hiroko Fukatsu, and it's this one. I'm using my, like a first month above, the Wollmite's lace garn, and it's pretty much, well, it's a bit darker than the color on the photo, and I can show you. And this is the cake I have now. I managed to wind all 300. I weighed the skein before winding it up. I had 307 grams. This is one of those big cakes, one of those big lace skeins that they have. The color's not really coming out too good. It's like a brownish with some gray and some blues in there, and it's called Een jaar der Ratten, so in the year of the rats, which was back in 2011 when I got this skein at Knit Nation. And just to show you, this is, I haven't weighed this, so I don't know how much this is, but this is the size of a regular 100 gram skein, and this is the lace. I actually have some photos of these two, one on top of the other, so maybe I'll insert that at the end so you can see the actual difference in size. But yeah, this is what I have left so far, and let's see, where was I? I'm just about to start chart C of the pattern, so I have 3 more charts to do, and I'll show you how far I'm, sorry, yarn's all tangled up, and this is how far I am. So it's easier to show like this, and it looks small, but this is lace. This stretches out tremendously, as you can see. And I've tried the sleeves on. These are the sleeves, these things here. You have the sleeve here. This is the back, like this, and now I'm working on the bottom part, and let's see if I can show you the lace spread out. So as you can see, it stretches out quite a bit. It's a nice lace pattern, and you can sort of see the different colors here. It's not a solid color anyway, but I quite like it. There's nice pops of dark blue, then there's like some gray, some light brown, yeah, it's really enjoyable knit. And despite the number of stitches I have on the rows, I think I have approximately 240 stitches, maybe more now, as I'm at the part where I'm increasing every 16 rows. Despite the number of stitches I have on each row, it's actually very intuitive knit. The pattern is easy to memorize, and I'm just sailing through, really. I started this on Monday. I didn't start it on Sunday. What with winding, let me see. I wound this cake of yarn. I wound this cake of yarn, and then I wound 8 of the 10 skeins I had for the pumpkin ale cardigan I'm going to be making from so the Cascade 220 heathers that I showed last week on the podcast. So I want 8 of those, and then what with I still had some photos to process and some other stuff to do around the house, so I didn't actually get around to doing any more knitting that evening. So I only started this on Monday. I think at lunchtime, because you start with a provisional cast on. It is a paid for pattern on Ravelry, but it's like not even like €2 or something, not even. So I say totally go for it. It's totally worth the price, and it's a super easy pattern, very well written. There's a couple of grammatical errors, but you know, this lady's not English, so it's understandable. But yeah, I'm really happy with the pattern. I'm super pleased with this yarn and the way it's working out. I've had this yarn, like I said, in my stash since July 2011, so just over 5 years now, since I bought it at Knit Nation. And at the time I bought it, I didn't really have a pattern in mind for it, and only bought this color yarn because I actually had 2 other skeins in my hand that were like my regular colors, the blues, the greens, and all that, and I decided to step away from those and buy one that, you know, to get away a bit from the usual colors I use. So I have had several different projects planned for this yarn, and they never came to fruition. So finally, when I saw this cardigan, I said, no, okay, this yarn, I'm going to use this yarn for this cardigan, and yeah, it's turning out fantastic, and I'm definitely going to have a lot of yarn left over, because like I said, I have three more chart repeats to do, which is a total of 48 more rows, and then 10 more rows of ribbing. So let's say 48, 60 more rows maybe to go, and yeah, I have this whole skein left to do, to go. I'm gonna weigh this, see how much I've used up, as I'm starting a new chart. I'm gonna weigh it and see how much I actually use up for this chart repeat, just out of interest. So that's everything I have on my needles today, or this week. I've been working on this exclusively this week. I'm hoping, I won't finish it today, I won't be able to. I'm hoping to maybe get it done by Wednesday, and then cast this one on, which will be, I think it's the Broken Wings by Joji Locatelli. I received it as a gift from a friend, the yarn and the pattern, so only fitting. I'm going to try it. It's supposed to be a very quick knit. Several people have already knit, in my knitting group have knit this already, and all of them say it's super quick to knit. So I'm going to try that one then, and hopefully I'll have something. The cardigan will definitely be finished by next episode. Sorry, there's fluff flying around. So I'll have the cardigan to show you next week, finished, and maybe a shawl, I don't know. So yeah, and then that will leave me, if I finish, say I finish the shawl by, if it really is such a quick knit, I might have it finished by next episode, I don't know. And then I'm going to pick up the dragon again and focus on that, have that finished, because then I don't want to start a big project, because the next cardigan I really want to make is the pumpkin ale, but that's going to take some time. I know it's thicker yarn and I'll be using thicker needles and all that, in case you're wondering, I'm knitting these on 4mm needles. I don't think that's what the pattern calls for, but that's what I'm knitting them on. And I'm knitting size medium, which is in correspondence to my chest measurements. I didn't do a gauge swatch, I just started knitting, and I then kind of semi-blocked it out after I had several repeats, and it's more or less within the gauge, the tension that the pattern calls for. If anything, it'll turn out slightly bigger. It won't turn out smaller, but like I said, it's lace, it stretches, it's not an issue. I'm just gonna have to block it. I'll have to see. I want the lace really to show, so I'll see how aggressively I block this cardigan. I won't promise to have it blocked by next week. I will have it finished, just can't promise to have it blocked, but we'll see. Right, so there's so next week's episode will be the last one in September, and then the one after that will already be in October, and October will basically be just socks. So just like the beginning, the first 4 episodes of my podcast, just showing off socks. Maybe what I'll do then, like I did in the first 4 episodes, I'll grab some projects I've completed before and show those off. I have several that are on a pile over there in one of the boxes I have in the shelf, in the shelving unit, that the ends still need to be woven in, so I really want to get those done because I'm hoping to wear those sweaters this year. But talking about socks and the knit along I'm going to be hosting, I thought I'd show you my box of socks. Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast and Dakota just came to say hi to Rusty, and he was growling. So if you heard that, it wasn't anything. It's just he doesn't want to be disturbed. Dakota wants to play, and Rusty wants to just chill in the sun. Drinking some iced tea today. This is some tea that a friend of mine from the office gave me. It's actually tea specifically for making iced tea, so you basically drop the bag in some room temperature water. I've drunk it at room temperature and it has no taste at all, but this one's just come out of the fridge and you can sort of taste it. It's supposed to be peach mango flavored. It's not the best. It's a Lipton tea. I'm not that great a fan of Lipton teas, but I said I'd give it a go, and she didn't want it because she didn't like she doesn't like those flavors. I said I'd give it a go because I like iced tea. So it's not bad. It's not. I've had better, but it was for free. So yeah, I was saying I'm hosting the sock call in October, and I thought, and I was talking about Kristen from the Yarngasm podcast, who is hosting a year-long sock knit along, and it's called the Box of Socks, and you basically have the whole year to knit socks, and I think it actually runs until the 1st of January, but you go into her group on Ravelry to see all the details, and last week, I believe, when I showed you the shorty socks, I said that was pair 10. It wasn't. It was pair 11 of socks so far this year, so really, I only have one more sock to go to reach the 12 socks, because that's one of the conditions. You have to have a minimum of 12 socks for the year, and it doesn't say if they have to. It has to be for yourself. So all these socks I'm going to show are all for me. I think I might need a bigger box after October. I'm gonna really have to squeeze them in. So I found this box at just like the we call them the Chinese stores, because most of the stores are run by Chinese. I'm not, criticizing anyone. It's just that's what we call them. They're kind of like, not really dollar stores, but you can like buy some stuff for fairly reasonable prices. So I found this box, which I thought was quite appropriate. What with it being knitting related and all that. Unfortunately, they only had this size, and preferably I would have wanted to buy a bigger size. But yeah, like I said, they only have this size. The inside is just checkered. And so these are my socks so far, and there's 11 of them. This is the first one I knit this year. This is Hermione's Everyday sock pattern, and this is Regia yarn. Okay. So this was done. This one was done in January. Then this one. So these 3 and these 4 were all done in March. And then this one was done in April. This one I started. This one I started in May. I finished maybe in July. And then this was the one I showed last week. So, just quickly. So this is Hermione's Everyday sock. And I'll link all of them in the show notes. I can't remember all the colorways and names of the yarn. So, but excuse me. So this is Regia. This is another Hermione's Everyday socks, also in Regia. This is the Snape socks by. Okay, so the first 2 columns and this one are all Erica Luder patterns, all 3 on Ravelry. This was a General Hog Buffer pattern, and this one was the Go-To Shorty socks, and I'll link the name in the pattern notes, in the show notes. So, Hermione's Everyday socks, these 2. This is Snape, this is Dumbledore, then we have Moody, this was Devil's Snare, this was the Hidden, I believe this was the Hidden Staircase, or was this, no, this was Professor McGonagall. Neville, these here were the Hidden Staircase, and then like I said, this was Broken Jack, I believe, by General Hog Buffer, and then the Go-To Shorty socks. And basically all of this is Regia yarn except for, let's see, Regia, except for the Devil's Snare, the Snakes, and then the cuffs and heels of these 2, which are Tiger yarns. The rest is all, oh yeah, and these ones up here are Drops Fable. This one and this one. So okay, other than this one up here, the blue one and the black one, is all Regia yarn. And then these ones have contrasting heels and toes of Tiger yarns, which is what these 2 are. And then this one and these are Fable yarns. And so has just jumped onto a cabinet in the kitchen, which I've told him plenty of times not to jump onto. Problem is that there's some breakable stuff on there, and I just don't want him to hurt himself. It's not, I would rather he didn't break anything, but I'd rather he doesn't hurt himself more. So that's my box of socks so far. Like I said, I can maybe squeeze in 2 more pairs of socks in here, or I'm gonna have to figure out a different way of putting them in here. I might have to go back to the shop and see if they have a bigger box. I need a couple more boxes anyway to put on my shelving unit here, as Soot likes to climb onto the shelves, and there's a couple of shelves. I've not been able to. My plan was, when I moved the shelving unit, was to put them against the wall. That way he couldn't get in behind them, and he couldn't get to the cables, the wiring of the TVs and all that, the TV and the stereo and like the DVD player and stuff. But unfortunately, I still have one of those old TVs, the big. I don't have a flat screen, so it's one of those big ones. And yeah, that was the reason I couldn't put the other cabinet against the wall either, and that's why he had so much space to go behind the shelving unit. And that's still the case, but I'm not going to throw out a perfectly good TV just because it's not a flat screen. So when that TV breaks or doesn't work anymore, that's when I'll get a new TV. But for now, it's working, and I'm just going to have to be careful with him not going in behind the... I've blocked the side entrances, but he's found... Soot? Okay, he's back again, and he's drinking water now. Funny thing I found out about Mr. Soot. He loves peanut butter. Yeah. I've made peanut butter biscuits for my dogs, and none of them like them. Used like recipes that people swear their dogs absolutely love, the biscuits and everything. Mine, not even my mom's dogs, want anything to do with those peanut butter cookies. Maybe it's because I use the chunky peanut butter. The other day I was at the grocery store. They had like the peanut butter on sale, so I bought a big jar, just the smooth peanut butter. It was something I used to eat as a kid, and then I don't know why I just stopped liking it, and now I like it again. Just not as an everyday thing, just every now and then I like eating it. And I just like to have a jar in my pantry. But Dakota actually likes the peanut butter, like the way it comes out of the jar. So maybe not in the biscuit forms that I made. And so I was like spreading some on my toast, and I just turned around to put the jar back in its place, and I had Soot licking the peanut butter off my toast. So he likes peanut butter. Is that normal, guys? Tell me, you people who have cats, please let me know. Is that normal for cats to like peanut butter? I don't know. It's the first time I have a cat, so I know my dogs eat almost anything. Rusty loves butter. I don't give it to him, but he loves butter. So yeah. Then the only other thing I have to talk about is what I did yesterday. I think in July I mentioned that there was like some monuments were open to the public, and I ended up not going. One of the buildings, one of the things that I wanted to have gone to see, and I didn't see because I just ended up not going out that day, was the cruise terminal here in Medzinj, and ended up going yesterday because the Port Lechonge, or where it's located, is one of the biggest ports or harbors for merchandise here in the north. Apparently, it's the largest in the north of the whole Iberian Peninsula, according to the tour I had yesterday. So there's two parts to Port Lechonge. There's the cruise terminal, and then there's the harbor, so the merchandise harbor section. Where the big container ships come in. And I took roughly 500 photos, so I have to see some of it, especially the ones on the bus tour. I mean, the bus driver was like going really fast. So I'm not sure how well those photos turned out. I like basically at one point I was like trying to click and focus on things I wanted to take photos of, and because the guy was going so fast, um, yeah, I ended up just supporting my camera with my hand and just clicking away. So I haven't actually looked at them yet. I have to do that after filming this. I'm gonna just, if there's any decent photos, I'll put them up there and you can see what I was talking about. So what I did first was I went to the cruise terminal, and they have you walk like, you know, if you, once you enter. Oh, and that's another thing. Um, for me, Port de Lestrange is always on the Lessa side, Lessa de Palmeira of the river, because there's a small river called Rio Lessa. That's where Lessa de Palmeira gets its name from. Sorry, Sip was over here wanting some attention. So I always thought the entrance to there was on the Lessa Palmeira side and not on the Matosinhos side, but I was wrong. Cruise terminal is on the Matosinhos side, so I went to Lessa Palmeira, and you know, it's just crossing a bridge. It's not that much further. But if I'd known, I would have taken a different route and gone straight to Matosinhos, found a spot to park. And I did find it kind of weird that when I got to Lessa de Palmeira, I had plenty of parking, which was not. It's like, you know, if they have an event going on, it's usually packed. So I headed to Lessa, went up to the where I thought was the entrance to the terminal, which ended up being the entrance to the marina. I should have maybe asked if I could have gone inside, just, you know, take some photos of the marina. I've never been there before. Maybe I'll do those some other day. But I also don't know if it's allowed. You know, it's a private marina. Maybe you have to have a boat dock there to go in it. I don't know. I'll see if I can get in there sometime. If not, you know, not a big deal. So go back in my car, crossed the bridge, and drove around quite a bit trying to find a parking space, and then pure luck, like on my second go around, I found a parking space. I mean, not exactly where I wanted it, but you know, it's a parking space. And it being Saturday, usually you don't have to pay parking on Saturdays, but in Matosinhos, I think because of the cruise terminal, certain areas closer to the cruise terminal, you do have to pay parking. And I found a parking space just before that section, so I didn't pay for parking, which was great. If I had actually known it was in Matosinhos, I would have taken the metro, because that would have been so much faster. It's like maybe 5 minutes or 7 minutes or so from my house to Matosinhos by metro, so I would have taken the metro if I'd known. I know for next time. So yeah, the cruise terminal, yes, I had an open day, and I decided to go, and I did go. And from the entrance to the actual terminal building, it's like, I'd say a good kilometer or so, and they had you walk the whole way. They didn't have buses, so not even for the elderly people. I mean, and there was a lot of people. I got some photos from inside of the building where I managed to not get any people in the shot, but let me tell you, that was difficult. I had sometimes just stand there waiting, and you know, and people just really didn't care. I mean, whereas if I see someone is about to take a photo, I just wait, or I go underneath so that I'm not in the lens and you know, in the picture. But no, people didn't care. They just walked right on by. Someone just standing there like waiting, and like, okay, yeah, go on by kind of thing, you know. But yeah, it was great fun. The terminal is fantastic. It's like, I'll add in some photos of the actual building and maybe some of the photos that I took inside. It's really nice. It's recent, maybe 2-3 years. I'm not sure. Yeah, I really like walking around in it. It's all sort of on the inside, sort of like those spiral seashells. kind of thing. So you walk up all the way around, like all the way to the top, and then you can go outside. There's several levels that you can go outside, and I went outside on at every opportunity. And at the very top they have like a whole bunch of stairs, almost like big granite stairs that you can just sit there and yes, look out towards Matzinch and towards Lesser Palmeda as well. Outside on the water, there were two lifeguard boats you could visit. Only managed to visit one because by the time I finished walking all the way around the terminal, inside the terminal on the second level, I believe it was, they have laboratories. So they do research there for to do with the ocean and ocean life and all that. So they had some people explaining certain things there. How one of them was a lady explaining how they can take dirty water from those recycle plants. Those water recycle plants kind of thing. How they can take that kind of water and filter it through several layers of things. So natural. So one layer is like they filter it through specific types of plants and soil, and then underneath that soil they have some more those volcanic rocks kind of thing, and then something else underneath it. And by the time it filters through all of that, it comes out clean, and it's clean enough that you can drink it, fish can live in it. And basically, I have a picture of that, and I'll try to put that in, where you can see the dirty water being filtered through all those layers of soil and all that. Sorry guys. I have been sleeping fine just actually this week. Don't know why. It's like some people I've seen, for instance, Amber from the Yarn Junkie podcast, she starts complaining about her nose running the whole time. I apparently start yarning the whole time. I don't know what it is. Maybe I should film this like the moment I get up. Well, I think that would be. Anyway, back to what I did yesterday. So I'll put in a picture of that, the dirty water filtering through, and then there was like the fish, tiny little fish that I tried to get photos of, but they were just too quick and not cooperating, not standing, floating kind of thing, so I could take decent photos. But there was another tank with bigger fish, and one of the fish was really, I started taking some photos, and he seemed to come towards me in the glass, in his little tank to get more photos, and he's like turning around from one way to another. So he seemed really wanting, he wanted me to take photos, which was quite fun. But yeah, after I did the inside of the terminal, I went outside. I did visit one of the lifeguard boats that's in use. By the time I came outside, it was like midday, and one of them had already shut down. They were taking a break for lunch, and would only open again at 2 o'clock, and I wasn't going to hang around until 2 o'clock to go see the boat. Actually, it was the bigger boat, which was a shame, so I went on the smaller boat, but it's still interesting to see. Walked through the whole boat. They had the whole, you walk in and yeah, they told you where to go kind of thing. So I saw the mess hall, which is a tiny little room. Despite it being, like I said, a small vessel, it still had 3 rooms. 2 singles and 1 bunk bed, I believe. So 4 crew members. Still, 4 crew members for a boat like that. Yeah. The engine room was fun to see. I liked that kind of stuff. So that was then so I did the boats thing, and then I walked all the way back to the entrance, the main entrance, and I waited in line for the bus tour, which I waited maybe 15 minutes, and I was like looking at the long queue, and I was like, well, I'm gonna, if it takes more than 15 minutes, I'm out of here. I'm not gonna stand around waiting. But because each bus took on quite a lot of people. It went fairly fast, and I got on the third bus from the moment. Oh, sorry guys, really, I don't know what's going on. um, yeah, and then that's when I did the bus tour. And like I said, the bus driver was really going really fast, which wasn't very conducive to taking photos. I mean, it was one of those city bus tours you see on the in the city and all that. It just those usually go slower, and this guy was just racing through. I think maybe he was like fed up with doing the same route, like because they do the one trip and then they unload people and they're like move forward and like loading up people again. So they do this I don't know how many times a day, you know. So yeah, I guess he was just fed up by this time. It's roughly 1 o'clock or so when I did the bus tour, and then there was nothing left more to see. So I went outside, stopped at a little, not really a chapel, it's like some monument. Took some photos there, and headed back to the car and came back home. Went to take the dogs for a nice long walk, because I'd left them alone the whole morning. And every time I go take the dogs out for a walk now, Sid goes into his little transporter cage, the little cage I use for taking him to the vet, which is by the front door, because I've not put it away in the cupboard yet. But it's really funny. I go to the front door to open the front door, and he runs and puts himself in there, like maybe in the hopes that he's gonna go somewhere. I don't know. So yeah, that's what I did yesterday. Today I've just taken the walks out for several walks already. It's warm, really still warm. You can actually feel the sun burning. And that was another thing yesterday. It's such a lovely day, and the beach was practically empty, which I don't get. I mean, I know school has started for most of the kids now. It started like on Thursday maybe. But it's such a nice sunny weekend, and I don't get why the beach was so empty. Seriously, I don't know. Maybe they figure, school starts, no more going to the beach, which it's fine. Actually, the rules here in Portugal, and this might be a European thing, I don't know. During the summer, so during the summer months, which they consider to be from the 1st of June to the 30th of September, dogs are not allowed to go on the beach except for the ones that don't have a lifeguard. The ones that don't have a lifeguard, you can take your dogs, no problem. Just have to be aware that there are still people on the beach. We don't actually have dog beaches here like they do in the U.S. So it's just beaches open to everyone, and you can take your dogs there. If the beach does have lifeguards, then you're not supposed to take your dogs to the beach during the day. During the day is from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So between 9 p.m. and 9 a.m. you can take your dogs to any single beach in the country, and nobody can actually tell you anything. It's the law. It says so in the. I checked this out just to make sure that I wasn't doing anything wrong by taking the dogs to the beach, because I'd had several people saying, you're not supposed to take your dogs to the beach and all that, and I'm like, yeah, right. So I did check out the rulings and all that, and so from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. during the summer months, you're not supposed to take your dog to beaches with lifeguards, but like I said, people don't really care. Yesterday, like I said, when I was walking back to the car, I walked past this beach that doesn't have lifeguards, and I saw about 10 dogs on the beach. But then again, the beach was practically empty, so yeah. Well, it's I don't have anything else to talk about today, to show you guys, so I'm gonna say goodbye and let the dogs enjoy the sun. And I'm gonna carry on with my knitting and process this video and some of my photos while watching Mamma Mia, which is on TV right now. And I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully definitely with one finished project, maybe two, who knows. So have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.